Welcome back to the big room. We haven't seen you in a while.
Nope. We took a week off.
2 hurricanes and...
Well, it was hurricane, vacation, hurricane.
Hurricane, yeah. We went to
So it's been
Maine,
a long few weeks.
And
hurricane sandwich.
We didn't like lobster. The hurricane was the roll around our lobster sandwich that we didn't like.
That we didn't
You
like.
didn't like lobster.
No, it's rubbish, isn't it? It's just like what I learned is lobster is not all that great, and people say that it's good because they want to feel like rich and wealthy, like they're on the Titanic.
Yeah.
And what's better is like 2 pounds of snow crab legs and a beer.
Which is still expensive. Like, I mean, snow crab legs aren't cheap.
But they're better.
But they're
I've
better.
never really been into lobster until a year ago, 2 years ago when I tried it. I'm like,
then-
yeah, I'll do lobster. And then
my
throat just kind of swelled up a little bit.
Oh.
And I was like, I should have said after the first time, I'm not going to do that again. But then I went back to the exact same food truck. And then it happened again. I was like, okay, I'm now not going to do that.
Did you have to go to the hospital?
No, it was just kind of like
went
a little knot in the throat for like an hour, and then it went away.
Couldn't breathe, eyes shut up. It was fine. Are you allergic to all shellfish or just
No,
lobster?
that's the only thing that's done it so far.
Well, there you go,
Interesting.
folks. Nick is allergic to lobster, and he keeps eating it. Danielle didn't like it because it had
I
a
only
face.
did it once.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting to be served like just an entire lobster. Like just face, antenna, fuzzy legs.
Antenna.
I didn't like it.
They like weighed it in front of her, and she's bummed out.
Well, you saw them take them out. Like, I know how it works. I know how it works, but I don't want to see it get removed out of the water and be all pinchy and then go
It's
in.
not being pitchy. It's waving bye to its family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bye,
He's
family.
like,
Out and they're like,
"This
any
is
last
it."
words to the lobster? And it's like, all right.
And then they just go put them in a bag and then they go boil them.
Yeah.
That's sad. And then you have to break it open and it's gross. No, don't like it.
Lobsters or crabs better because you just get their legs.
Yeah.
I need a degree of separation between me and my food, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I eat meat. Meat's good, but I don't want to look it in the eye. It's too much.
Yeah. I agree.
Anyways.
Maine was good though.
Yeah, the rest of the trip was very
It was
good.
kind of like being on vacation in Stars Hollow out of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Except for without all the arguing.
Yeah, we didn't argue. We had one argument, but
And I won it.
you did.
Now,
Nice.
we watched a movie though, because that's
Why we're
I
here.
think that's why we do the show. It's been so long, I can't remember.
You could say.
It's only been a week for them,
It's
right?
a movie
week off?
podcast.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
2,
No, one.
1, yeah.
Just
We did
a
an episode
one.
last week. I think Cars came out.
Sure.
I don't know. Can't be bothered.
Yeah.
We did our work for it so early that it just doesn't register. So we watched Alien because it's October. It's the
Yeah.
Halloween month. So
We got Cameron to watch a scary movie.
What's my one rule for the show? No scary movies. And we broke that rule for Carl.
Tell me.
Just for Carl.
At what point, because I know you did it, at what point did you look up how the movie ended?
When I watched it 15 years ago for the first time,
That's right. Okay.
I was
Okay,
not
okay.
looking it up because I think Steven would have hit me in the head with a bat if I had looked up how Alien went. So no, I watched this movie. I remember going home afterwards because we watched Alien and Predator. It was me and Steven and Brandon, and we watched Alien Predator on the same day. I think it was for Steven's birthday or mine or something. And I remember going home and going, crap, and I had to write a paper for college, which means I was between the ages of 15 and 17. And I believe I drove.
For college?
Yeah. So,
15.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, don't do that. I dual enrolled, so it's not really real. I dual enrolled at 15. Humble brag. And so we watched it around then.
Nerd.
And we watched Alien first and then Predator, I think. So I had seen it before. Danielle had not seen it.
Nope.
Nick had not seen it.
Nope.
Carl had not seen it. That's we picked a scary movie that I had seen because I'm not watching any scary movies. I don't like them.
Yeah.
But Alien's fine because it's a little more thrillery, Jaws-ish.
Suspenseful.
Yeah.
It's got some shared Jaws-ness with they don't
That
show you
tension
the
building,
xenomorph a whole
yeah.
lot.
And like the jump scares aren't really all that bad.
One got you at the end.
Yeah, only one got me. I didn't
what
think it was
was
that. It was when she's in the pod thing.
Oh, and
and the
you're like-
alien's like, you don't know he's in there yet.
But you are staring at his head. Like,
Yeah.
I noticed the head shape, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this.
And then his like
arm
hand
moves.
jumps. That's the only jump scare that I was like, huh. Everything else I was fine.
Dallas and the air vents didn't get you? Because that's the one that got me.
No.
That one didn't get
That
me.
one made me laugh. Just the way the shot on the alien was just funny.
You know what
He did
scared
have his
me?
hands out like kind of silly.
Nah.
What scared me the first time watching this movie, I got jump scared by the cat twice because they do false flag you with cat jump scares a couple times with the old.
That's got to be what they're referencing in that Community episode. It's the second season where the cat keeps. He's like, "What is up with that cat?" That's got to be a reference to this because they're even wearing those costumes, alien
well
costumes.
then, hey,
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know,
they're in
dude. It's
costume.
been so long since I've seen Community.
You didn't even finish it.
It's always on the background for me.
I've seen all 3 seasons.
Yeah, there it is. So,
They
set
should
you
have made
up.
more of that show. Yeah,
Should have. 3 seasons in a movie just doesn't.
doesn't have the same ring.
Unbelievable.
I
Yeah,
feel like they'd done 3 more, but
Yeah.
alas, they didn't.
Oh, well.
1979. My mom was 10 years old when this movie came out. Not even. She was
Wow.
9. I have young
did
parents.
she like it?
She has seen it because I told her we were watching this, and she said the original one from the 70s. I said yes. I don't know if she liked it. She doesn't really like anything movie wise, so I
Classic
don't
moms,
know.
yeah.
She likes. Hang on, let me think. She likes Little House on the Prairie,
Classic mom.
Bones. These are shows.
Oh wow.
We used to watch Dog the Bounty Hunter. She liked that.
Wow,
What
a
was
range.
the Gene Simmons reality show? We used to watch that. Movie wise, I don't really know. Hang on, there's one.
She likes Downton
Passion of the
Abbey.
Christ.
No,
Christ.
Grease. She likes
Grease.
Grease and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which
That
impeccable taste there.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sound of Music. But Grease is the one movie from childhood where I remember her really being into Grease. Grease is incredible. It's very good. So, 1979, directed by Ridley Scott. We've seen 2 of his movies for the show, Blade Runner and Gladiator. Written by Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett, who they both also wrote on Total Recall, the original, starring, I believe that's Schwarzenegger. And it's very good. It's a cyberpunk movie.
Sounds right.
And then they did a remake that I didn't know about.
That was Colin Farrell, right?
Colin Farrell, yeah, they did a remake. It was panned. It sucks.
I
Apparently,
think I've seen that.
you should watch the original. It's good.
Yeah.
They also wrote on AVP, Alien vs Predator, among other films. Dan O'Bannon was a visual design consultant for Alien, as well as writing it. And he worked on computer animation and graphic displays for the miniature and optical effects unit for 1977's Star Wars.
Oh,
Had to get that in
there
there.
it is.
Had to get it.
I
Every
mean,
episode.
Star Wars is kind of the reason this movie exists.
More or less. The opening shots.
Well, apparently 20th Century Fox was, or 20th Century or whatever it was at the time, was going to pass on it. And then Star Wars was a big hit. And they're like, we're going to try to do that again because it
So
made a lot of money.
77, and this movie was like filmed in 78.
Yeah.
So
This was
That makes sense.
after the second
Nope.
after the first.
After the first.
In between.
Yes.
Yeah.
In between Star Wars and Empire. I think Empire was 79 and Return was 81, something like that. Budget, 11 million, which is like 52 million today.
Okay.
Something like that. And then the box office, 187 million, which is like over 800 million today. So it crushed it. It's like the classic low budget, big success kind of deal. Rotten Tomatoes, 93%. That's the critic score because frick audiences scores because audiences don't know what they're talking about. And Roger Ebert gave it 4 stars out of a possible 4.
Wow.
He operated on a 4-star scale.
Ooh.
AFI, the American Film Institute, ranks Alien 7th in its top 10 science fiction movie list. I have the list. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Starting from 10 and going to 1. 10, Back to the Future, 1985. 9, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. 8, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. And the
Seen
first
that.
film, not on the list. Which is
Interesting.
Now, Terminator 2 is better.
Yeah.
7 is Alien. Just beating out Alien, Blade Runner, Ridley Scott again. Number 5, The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951. Number 4, A Clockwork Orange, 1971, which I don't think of that movie when I think sci-fi. But I've not seen it because
I guess it's dystopian future, but I guess I didn't really consider that sci-fi
I wouldn't have either. Now,
in the truest sense. Yeah.
3 was my biggest surprise, I think, because it's so high, and I don't like this movie. E.T.
Never seen it.
Really?
But that's like, I mean, I don't like it either. But I mean, it's
Spielberg,
a classic.
yeah,
It's Spielberg. It's John Williams. I mean, come on.
Number
Good
2
combo, yeah.
is Star Wars, 1977. Any cracks? Any
Seen that
guesses
one?
at number 1?
Well,
2001.
Yeah, of course.
I thought Star Wars wasn't considered sci-fi.
So it is, but hardcore sci-fi people don't like it to be because it is light on the science and heavy on the fiction. Star Wars is
As it
often
should be.
described as a space opera, less so as like a hardcore sci-fi film. Like, for example, Star Trek fits the sci-fi bill more than Star Wars does. They spend a lot more time on the science. Blade Runner, again, as well. It's just more of that dystopian feel.
Yeah.
We're dealing with androids and whether or not they're people. And then this movie has the whole research and nerd stuff. And the first, like, 50 minutes is science and disposition and stuff. And Star Wars doesn't have a lot of that. It's Force and Boogans and space wizards. It's not very science-y.
Yeah.
But, what can you do? Dune, also science fiction, and that's more on the Star Wars side for me, unless you read the book, and then it's all spices and navigation and crazy politics and
I will just simply never.
big nerd stuff. I gotta reread Dune before I read Messiah.
Oh, why? You read it once.
I sucked at
You
reading
know
it.
the story.
If you listen, if you
sucked at
read the
reading
book
it.
and then listen to our Dune episode where I try to recall the book, I'm pretty sure you'd be pretty upset with me for how much I missed. Steven was like, he actually listened to our episode. It's like the one episode of ours he's listened to, and he was in Discord like agreeing with me a lot. And then going, you
Calling
missed
you an
this, you
idiot.
missed this, you missed this, you missed this. And then he's rereading the book again and agrees with me more to my credit after his second reread, which is interesting to me. So that's kind of what I have for pre-stuff. So we brought up Star Wars. My first note was the Nostromo when it goes over the camera at the top. It's not like the very, very first scene. There is akin to the opening crawl. There's the whole like Nostromo, here's the year, here's its 24 million tons of ore or whatever. I think it was, I read a little bit on the wiki because of course, Alien happened and then they're fleshing out Alien in post and there's a million other movies and most of them are crap. But I think they were coming from Neptune.
So that was my problem. It wasn't a big deal, but I wanted more backstory. Where are they coming from? Why are they like who sent them out? Why? How long have they been
company.
asleep? Yeah, the company. Okay. How long have they been asleep
It's
in
very
the
Coen
chambers?
Brothers where you kind of just drop into the story.
So
Yeah.
that there's a million other movies.
Right, and I'm sure it gets explained, but
It does. Well, and like
I've only seen one.
the whole cryosleep thing is like there's kind of two approaches to deep space travel, right? You have the Star Wars approach with Lightspeed, Punch It Chewie, etc., and then you have the approach that Alien takes where we are doing cryosleep. What's that Chris Pratt?
Passengers.
Same deal.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
yeah.
That kind of deal where we're asleep and then we woke up. Why? Kind of thing. This movie also the parallels in this movie. We mentioned Jaws. Also a little bit 2001 with the whole Hal and Mother and the company and there's nefarious purposes and blah blah blah.
Hal and Mother for sure.
Yeah. So there's that. Although Mother's less of a character in this movie than as a MacGuffin.
There's also a newer movie called Life.
Very good board game as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Jake Gyllenhaal, I believe, is in that. And I remember because I watched.
Wait, is that the one with Ryan Reynolds too?
Yeah, I
and then
think
the
so.
lady that plays the mom of
I remember.
Timothy Chalamet's character in Dune.
Oh God, what's her name?
Huh.
Jennifer.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Jessica.
blanking.
Jessica. Well, she's Jessica in the thing.
Movie, yeah.
It's gonna bother me. It's gonna come back in a minute.
If only we
Move
all
along.
had
Move
phones on our laps.
Continue
right
your
now.
thought.
Mine are on my notes.
I remember that movie coming out though, and people going, "Is this like this is so close to Alien? It has to be in the same universe." But no, it's just heavily inspired.
What's the
Rebecca Ferguson.
Thank you.
I never would have got there.
What's the company? Wayland
Jennings?
Wayland Yutani Corporation is the corporation. That's the company. They flesh all this stuff out later. Although,
Yeah.
crucially, until Prometheus, I'm pretty sure Ridley Scott was not involved. I don't think in any of the sequels. Then he did Prometheus, which nobody really likes, which is a prequel, and it explores more of the engineers or space jockeys. That's like the big dude we saw at the beginning. We'll get into that in just a second. So, character-wise, we have the Nostromos, the ship. Dallas is our captain. Ash, our science officer. Ripley, our warrant officer, which is never explained, but that's like co-pilot. She's essentially a co-pilot, and she's also in charge of the engineers, which is why they're kind of that scene where they're beefing. Why is she coming down here? Blah, 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 blah. She's in charge of the engineer crew. Speaking of engineers, we have Parker and Brett, who are getting paid less, kind because they're mechanics. And then we have Lambert, the navigator. Ash is Barry the lead, an android. And if you didn't know that, it's quite the surprise when he starts like sweating milk and shit.
I called it
Really?
almost from the
Ooh.
beginning. I watched with my brother-in-law, and I looked at him like I forget specifically what it was, but like Ash was just acting weird because he's just analyzing everything and
he's
trying to
he
figure
doesn't
out.
emote really.
Right.
He's like Spock.
And I just kept going, there's something weird about him. Like there's something is not right. And then at one point I even was like, why is he drinking milk in space? That sounds awful. And then,
I like drinking milk.
That's what got Nick. He's like, milk in space. Ugh.
do you guys
That'd be something
We
I
all
would
drink
say.
milk in space.
you guys realized who played?
I'm about to get
I
there.
spent the whole movie trying to figure out where
I had
knew
someone
him.
else in mind, but it wasn't him. So Ash is played by the late Ian Holm, who also played Bilbo in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, except in this movie, instead of grabbing at the one ring hanging around Frodo's neck by a chain in the last homely house of Rivendell after gifting him the mithril coat, he's complicit in the company's plans to consider the crew expendable and return with the xenomorph so it can be studied, even trying to murder Ripley with pornographical material to do so.
Would a magazine suffocate you?
No, 'cause you
I
have a
don't
nose.
think it would.
You have a nose.
I don't. It's not airtight. I was
Nose.
like, that
He
wouldn't.
wound it pretty tight
Maybe
with android strengths. I don't
No.
know.
If he would have got it in, he would have.
You would have got it.
Never mind. Move on.
I mean,
He would
there's
have
a lot
like
of
pinched the nose,
sexual
like he was
overtone.
getting there.
I guess if you get it far down enough, you would block
true.
the nasal passage, but it's still like to be suffocated
if you
with
have-
porn.
Yeah.
It's odd fate. Interesting way to go. I don't recommend it.
I don't recommend it.
That's we got way ahead of ourselves. I did pre-write
Sorry,
that.
that's my bad.
It's just funny to me. So, yeah, I forget who I thought he was, and then I looked it up and I went, oh Christ, it's Ian Holm, of course.
And then I couldn't unsee.
Yeah, then he
Bilbo,
was just
Yeah.
Bilbo the whole
Yeah.
time, but tall.
which was kind of a
why shouldn't
misdirect
I?
with because I realized he was like something was up before I realized he was Bilbo, and then
Yeah.
for a little bit I was like, oh, it's just because I'm seeing Bilbo. There's nothing wrong with him.
Ah,
So it was a fun little ride there.
I like it. So when shit hits the fan, really, in this movie, we are on
Almost immediately.
Almost immediately. So we're on the ship, blah, blah, blah. We wake up from cryo sleep. We wake up too early. We're upset about that because Mother, the artificial intelligence upon the ship, has ordered, we know now, Ian, or Ian's character's
Ash.
name, Ash, sorry. Both 3 letters. Very confusing. There's nefarious purposes with the android that we don't know is an android and we don't know he's in on it, blah, blah. Anyway, they wake up early. They are sent to go investigate a transmission, mystery transmission on some moon halfway between wherever they were, which I think I read was Neptune, and Earth. So long way away. They get there. They send Dallas, Kane, and Lambert to investigate. The ship gets kind of jacked up in the landing, and Ripley stays with Ash and the engineering crew and to repair the ship. And Dallas, Kane, and Lambert go to investigate. It leads them to a derelict alien spacecraft and the long dead corpse of an alien pilot, which are called engineers or space jockeys. We learn that later in the series. The pilot's chest, they note, appears to have been exploded from the inside out, which is a delicious bit of foreshadowing that Nick just missed.
I just
Of
got
course
it.
he did.
I know. I remember them saying that. I just put the 2 things together.
Gotcha.
You guessed the android thing, but didn't.
Listen, I only get one thing. One thing. My brain isn't big enough for 2.
Everybody gets one. Yeah.
He's playing Connections and he got purple first and then didn't get anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A New York Times joke for no one. Join our Discord. We play those every day. Now, I really like the foreshadowing. There was a note that I wrote down. I have 2 things to talk about here. One is H.R. Geiger, who I think is awesome. He is an artist. He worked on the visual effects for this movie. He's responsible for the design of the xenomorph, and a lot of his style is called biomechanical. So he does art in like this weird crossroads he made of where organic material meets mechanical material. So that's why the alien looks like it's made of like piping and gears and weird. It's just weird and it's very unsettling. The ship is very much that way. He won he was part of the special effects team for the movie that won an Academy Award for Best Achievement in Visual Effects for this movie. He based the design of the xenomorph, the alien, on his own art, on a painting he did called Necronom 4. Which just looks like that's where the iconic head shape came from, and really the rest of the aliens. Super cool. His design has been featured in the interior design of there are two Geiger bars in Switzerland where you can go and it's like the ceilings designed that way. There's these thrones that are really slender and tall, and they feature like two skulls stacked on top of each other above the heads. That was taken from the original, what was supposed to be, I forget who the director was. I didn't write it down because I'm an idiot. Is the first, what was going to be the first stab at a Dune movie. And it was supposed to be the Harkonnen throne for Baron Harkonnen. And then the movie got basically scrapped. And then David Lynch like picked up the pieces and kind of used some of Geiger's design to do his terrible Dune movie. That we should definitely watch.
Still haven't watched.
We should definitely watch that for the show because wow, Steven calls it a fever dream. Seems insane. So David Lynch like kind of used some of his design, but they didn't work directly with each other, which H.R. Geiger bemoaned. He would have loved to have worked with him there. His design has also been featured. There were a couple Ibanez signature guitars. It's a guitar company that featured his designs on the body, which is cool. And notably, Korn frontman Jonathan Davis's signature mic stand was designed by H.R. Geiger. He designed 5.
That seems fitting.
He designed 5 mic stands. Jonathan Davis was able to purchase up to 3. He purchased 2 of them. And then the design was later used by Geiger to kind of be fleshed out for a modern art piece. So it basically took the mic stand off the top and finished the head of the thing. If you look at it, you'll go, I get it.
Yeah.
If you like, H.R. Geiger definitely has a lane, and everything he does looks like Alien. He's been involved in it and has lots of video games inspired by his design. It's super cool. There was one that just released, and it's super gross. Released a couple years ago. I forget what it's called. But H.R. Geiger's gangster. His stuff is super cool. He died in 2014.
Rip.
The other thing I want to talk about is if you have the question about what's with this ship, with this big alien man, why are there so many eggs in it?
Yep.
There's an answer.
Gross.
There's an answer.
Gross eggs.
And the answer is Ridley Scott. This is from the director commentary to the film. He quoted that the space jockey's ship was, quote, an aircraft carrier or battle wagon of a civilization, and the eggs were a cargo, which were essentially weapons, like a large form of bacteriological/biomechanoid warfare. So basically, the engineer would fly over a planet that they were at war with, that they wanted to conquer, and he would drop the eggs, and then facehuggers, aliens, war happens. It's crazy.
And then they conquer.
It's like a biomechanical kind of warfare. It's gross, but with aliens, which is crazy. And the point is that that's supposed to be like a civilization long ago.
Yeah.
The engineer backstory is in Prometheus. There's an early, I think the movie kind of ends with an early pseudotype of the xenomorphs and what they become later on. So it's not a very well reviewed movie. Really, none of the other Alien films are, apart from Aliens, which was directed by James Cameron and is more of an action movie. I think Aliens, plural, is worth watching. It's the second movie.
What else did James Cameron do?
Titanic, Avatar.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird lane for him to pick up the mantle of a horror film. I recommend watching it. However, I don't know if I recommend watching it like soon, because it's so tonally different. And if you're expecting Alien again, you will be disappointed by it. But if you are expecting an action movie set in the Alien universe, you're going to have a fun time because it's a fun movie. But it is not the same. It's totally different. It does still have Ripley in it. I won't spoil why or how, because it is a direct pickup from Alien. It is boom, we have aliens. But however, if you liked what I consider kind of the best part of Ripley as a character, like she's one of my favorite protagonists of all time, is because she's one of the strongest examples of a female lead, because she's just correct the whole time, and she's surrounded by people that don't listen to her. And if you find that frustrating / entertaining, there's another movie for you, and it's called Aliens, because wow, it's just men not listening to Ripley. and then dying.
Classic man.
Rip.
It's a good movie. It's not, and part of the reason why it doesn't hit the same is because it's called Aliens, plural. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And that's just
Which is
different.
what I thought that's what this was going to be.
No.
It's clearly called
This
Alien.
movie is like Scary Jaws in space.
Yeah.
Aliens is like, what if there were like a
It
bunch
really
of
is.
them?
It's Jaws in space.
And then AVP is dumb. It's dumb. It's good, but it's dumb.
I've seen that.
You've seen AVP?
My eyes have seen that on a screen. My brain retained none of it. I was 13 and my brother was like, let's go to the movies. I'm like, okay.
It's 2004 when that movie came out.
Yeah.
If you're
I
going
lived
to
in
watch,
Lakeland.
you should watch Predator first. Predator's dope. Predator's dope. Totally different style of movie than Alien as well, but
I was laughing so hard when they got to the alien ship and he stumbles upon the eggs and just decides to stick his face in it.
Right? Yeah. Stupid.
It like starts to open up and he goes, no, let me look at that.
Let me
Like,
lean over this.
I was
Yeah.
kind of talking.
I mean, I know he had to for the movie, but come on.
I was kind of talking almost too much during the movie because I was afraid at how you
little
would
bit.
receive it. Because you have nightmares and you don't like scary stuff or zombies or anything. And
Yeah.
I was kind of trying to minimize the impact of, like, for example, going into the movie, I told her Ripley lives and the cat lives.
Yeah. Everyone else dies.
Like, there's no way. And I was like, everybody else dies. And we don't really see it too much. Like, it's a lot of second mouths going. And
then they're gone.
And that's it. And then I think one of the more disturbing scenes is when they find Langley and what's his face? The last two people to die.
Yeah, the
And
like engineers or whatever.
She walks in the room and she's hanging from the ceiling with her feet just dangling and he's slumped there. That's one of the more disturbing scenes in the movie. Outside of the chest.
It's also when
scene.
she realizes I'm completely alone.
Yeah. Which is super cool. But we're getting
But speaking of the alien ship, fun fact for you: the director
Ridley, no,
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott.
It's hard
Good
because
Lord.
we have Ridley Scott and Ripley.
and Ripley.
Yeah.
Ripley Scott.
He put his kids in that scene in the like astronaut outfits to make everything feel bigger.
Which scene?
When they're like outside
okay.
the alien
so those
ship.
are his kids.
Yeah, those are kids.
When they walk up to the engineer and stuff.
Yeah.
To make them look tiny. Because
Oh.
the engineers are quite huge.
Yeah.
Alien, too. The alien, I think, is 9 feet tall. A xenomorph.
Oh wow.
Cool stuff, man. I really like this scene. So let's talk about the chestburster scene.
Oof.
The seminal, I think, scene in the movie. One of many, but I think
You can buy a
that's-
toy.
Huh?
You can buy a toy
A chestburster
with the
toy.
dude with a chest burster
You
coming out.
didn't like it. But
No.
you didn't. I think that the thing, correct me if I'm wrong, what I absorbed from you, the vibes I was catching were that you liked the face hugger even less.
Yeah. Well, you had you kind of prefaced me for everything that happened in the movie.
Except the face hugger.
Except the facehugger, so nothing was really a surprise, which he did on purpose because, like,
I didn't
he's
want you to
already
have nightmares
mentioned.
all night.
I literally will be in the backyard sometimes, and I'll just think about, like, I watched Bird Box, and it'll get windy, and I'm like, what if the wind is gonna get me? So like that's the level of
That's the kind of person we're dealing with
the
here.
person
I was overtly cautious.
like, I watched a movie where like monsters.
A little wind will. I'll get a chill and I'll think of
No,
a
this
bird
Carl.
box.
She's like, zombies will come over the fence. Can you come outside
No.
with me? And I'm like, what?
This one's worse. I watched some scary movie where the monsters mark
my
you
God.
as a kid if you have like nightmares and night terrors,
Hi, night terror.
and then as an adult they come back to you to take you to eat you. But
Ooh.
you have to be in the dark though for them to get you. So sometimes if I have to walk across the house at night, I will run because it's dark.
Just a 30-year-old woman sprinting through her home.
Yeah. So that's why he explained so much because
Dark staircases, I'm running every time.
yeah.
Something is behind me.
You don't know.
You know what
You
I
don't
tend to
know.
do is turn the lights on.
Well, yeah, but you can't always do that.
It's like
Yeah.
everybody else is asleep, you know? I don't know. If you're in a
FM
house.
people, man. Lights. I got a phone with a light on it.
So,
That's fair.
but yeah, you didn't tell me about the face hugger, and as soon
No.
as that, I didn't like it. It was gross.
And then she's like, "How did it get through the helmet?" And I'm like, "Wait 5 minutes and explain."
Yeah, I was really mad. It's like, how is he like? It didn't make any sense. But
How
then
How does he breathe if it's providing?
thought he
him
was
with,
dead.
It's providing him with oxygen.
the movie
They explain that.
explained everything.
Yeah.
Because that's the science part of the science fiction movie.
fiction.
It's the science part.
So like alien life is not something they come across ever, or is it like
That I
not
don't.
super really explained? But I was like, if I saw any kind of life, I'd be like, oh, I'm getting out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Xenomorph
be-
life,
Yeah.
certainly not. What's interesting to me though is that the company knew it was there. Because they make Ash. Ash's directive from the company and Mother is to bring the alien specimen back. That's why
and he
they're
was a last
woken
minute
up.
replacement.
All lives
Yep.
are
He was a
expendable.
last minute replacement. Yeah, you guys should watch Aliens.
Yeah, I want to watch. I need my questions answered from this movie.
Yeah.
So
Just be careful what you look at because Aliens is super good. Now, the chestburster scene, it's super gnarly. It's neat. It's not horrible.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Like,
I
to
was like, I
me-
had my hands like here just in case, and it wasn't that bad.
To me, when the captain gets eaten in Jaws, that's like worse than every single death in this movie.
oh really?
To me.
There's
Yeah.
more yelling.
I
Like
definitely expected there to be a lot more gore in this. Like, I thought it was going to kind of lean more horror, more slasher, and it was definitely a little bit more of a brooding kind of tension bubbling kind of thing. It was not like I think I'm expecting Aliens when I was watching this. Not to say that I didn't enjoy it, but I definitely went into it going, this is going to be like gory and like hard to watch or something, but it was like not really that bad. Like it felt definitely like a lot more 2001 influence than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Meets like Jurassic Park because it was very like self-contained, like it's a we created this thing, I guess, now we have to deal with it, and like I don't know, I definitely thought it was gonna be a lot scarier.
I've heard it
I was kind of
compared-
relieved. Like,
I've read it compared to The Thing, but
which I do want to see
the
next. Yeah.
50s The Thing.
Yeah.
Because the one from the 80s is actually a remake of the one from the 50s.
I've seen the
And
80s
the
one.
thing's very similar. Like, oh, we have an alien, let's bring it in the thing, and then it murders everybody inside the camp. And Kurt Russell is a flamethrower. So there's kind of that line too. What was crazy about the chestburster scene to me is Danielle and I actually paused the movie after the dude dies for real, and the alien goes like comically runs across the table and then just it's just like and it's gone.
Yeah, it just
We
skids
paused the movie
across.
to feed the dogs. We're like, this is a good stopping point. We're probably 30 minutes in. Probably
It was like-
30 minutes in. We thought we were 30 minutes in. It's 55 minutes in the movie, the chestburster scene. Nearly halfway through. So we have 50 some odd minutes of building.
I had the opposite
And
experience.
Nick thought it took forever.
I thought it was so slow. It was very 2001 in the sense of
Yeah.
like all the ships were moving
So slow.
so slow. Like
you're getting
the
it in
whole,
real
just the
time.
pacing of the whole movie though.
You're agreeing with him, but
Well, the
you-
ships moved.
The ships.
I didn't think the movie moved slow, but I was annoyed. Like, why are the ships going like 2 miles an hour? These are advanced spaceships. Go faster.
Space big. Space
well, I
big.
liked how complex like flying was. Like it was like a full team effort. Like I thought
Yeah.
that was a really cool way to
It's like Sea
ground.
of
Like
Thieves.
the
Well,
whole
and-
crew felt real. Like everything felt like you lived in, and like that was.
And I feel like-
it was believable.
At different points throughout the movie, there was a different character we were supposed to be like focusing on as like the main character. Like it wasn't
Yeah, they
always
kinda
Ripley.
shift,
Ripley's
like, we're not really
background.
sure like who the protagonist is until Ripley's like kind of
Yeah.
the one making the calls. Like it seems like Dallas might be at some point like the protagonist.
She's really background until Dallas dies, which is kind of true in broadcast because she's second in command. She makes that very known to Ash once he kind of goes over her head and opens the like airlocky quarantine doors to let everybody in, which is dumb. But the
I
whole
got
movie's
so
just
mad.
dumb.
I was like, he poked the egg. Frick him. Leave him.
He earned this.
Pirate's code. He who falls behind gets left behind. Leave him.
That's more of a
It's- it's
guideline.
The Top Gear.
But it was Ash. He was the robot.
I know. It all made sense.
One, he didn't know he
afterwards.
was breaking protocol.
Yes,
Probably.
I was really annoyed at first because I was like, why are they making such like careless decisions? But then you realize the whole thing is orchestrated, so
Yeah.
of course
Yeah.
that's happening. So I was like, okay, that's cool.
Speaking
I also
of-
definitely. Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of careless decisions, whenever the face hugger disappears off of the dude, and they're like, "We got to go in there and find it." One, they send 3 people in, just
Right.
send one person, and they leave the door open for like 10 minutes. I'm
Well,
like,
there's-
please
And
shut
they
that
didn't
behind
mask
you.
up either.
There's that, and then when the dude, like the facehugger, gets off and dies, he wakes up with his amnesia or whatever. The whole crew goes in. They're like, "Oh, quarantine must be over. He's off," and they all just go in and party.
Out of sight, out of mind.
They literally say he has to be quarantined. Next scene, they're all.
Let's get some food.
That makes that
What?
chest bursting scene so much better though, because it puts us all at ease. We think everything's okay, and then we realize
Yeah.
it's not. Like
But
that's
there's-
like that
there's
makes
that-
it. It's like high
He
relief.
lived.
There's that little bit of in the back of your head, like, but what was it? And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they let you sit with the dinner scene for just long enough to get comfortable to his point,
Yeah.
and then he starts choking.
Yeah.
And then one of the more disturbing parts about the chestburster scene isn't the blood flying everywhere. It's not the thing poking out of its chest with its metal teeth going like, eh. To me, it's when they show the alien peering out of his chest, his hands are convulsing in the background. Watch it again. His hands are doing a little like this, like it's supposed to be involuntary convulses.
Yeah.
That's just too human and too real. And it makes me feel yucky.
When you watch it again, also look at the reactions of everyone. Because the actors had no idea that it was a chest burst scene. They didn't know what was going to happen. So those are very genuine, like, holy
I
crap
heard
reactions.
that's kind of a myth too. Like they knew what was
really?
going to happen, but they didn't know that they were going to get like sprayed with blood. Is what I
Oh,
heard.
okay. That's
So
more
like,
believable.
yeah. But
That's
I
wild,
think
though.
it's a more
I like
sensational
that.
story to hear it the other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl, how did you feel about the pacing? Did you think it dragged a bit?
I thought it was slow, but I knew it was like I knew where it was kind of building. I was like, okay, we're like getting to a crescendo or whatever. So I didn't mind the pacing, and I thought it was really good to look at. Even like the very beginning when they're all kind of getting out of their pods, I was like, oh my god, this is like 2001 again. Like I finally get another like slice of that. But I didn't mind the pacing at all. There were some things. There were like overall, I really enjoyed it, but there were a few. Like at the end when Ash is revealed to be a robot, I kind of felt like they jumped the shark. Like it almost took me out of it. Because I was like, we got aliens and robots. Like it seemed
Okay.
like too much. I don't know. Maybe that like I feel like the intention was to be like, there's more at like this is a like bigger conspiracy than you know, and the
That's
world's
it,
bigger than
yeah.
you know. But it just at the time I was like, what? Like, what are we
Because
doing?
the thing is, none of them knew either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, he's a damn robot when they knock his head off. And he's full of like milk and also like tubes. He's nasty. He's full of like milk.
And then they hot wire him and bring his head back to life.
And I like how he sounded mechanical. The pacing's really interesting to me because I loved it. It's my perfect. I like slower paced things. That's why I like older movies. I like my Casablancas and my African Queens more than I like my Avengers. But it really simmers for 55 minutes and then explodes at the chestburster scene. And then we have little explosions. Boom, 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 boom. And then we have another simmer when Ripley self-destructs the Nostromus, and then she's in the pod, and we
And you
think
think
we're
it's the
good.
end of the movie.
We think we're good, and then Danielle's jump scare scene happens. It's the false ending, kind of, and you're like, oh, you are my lucky star. You're my lucky star. It's such a perfect pacing for me. I loved it. Now, Dan O'Bannon, I mentioned he wrote the movie. He's the one who worked on Star Wars as well. One of the two writers. He died in 2009 from complications of Crohn's disease. He credited his experiences with Crohn's for inspiring the chest bursting scene from Alien.
I guess I don't really know what Crohn's.
It's an intestinal attacky kind of
okay.
disease, so that's why that's what he came up with the chest burster scene from, which is super cool. Now, chest burster scene happens. Alien gets away. We're one down. We have a burial at space. Send the dude off in the airlock, and he just
That
But
made
that
me laugh
too.
so hard.
Yep.
Yeet.
There were so many things like that where like I was like, that can't have been done for comic relief,
If
but
they
it
just
definitely made me laugh.
his
and
body goes slower out into space, it wouldn't have been funny.
Yeah.
But it really goes. "Nyo!"
It's like, get out of here! Yeah, just chucked him out. I was just like,
There you go.
does anybody want to say any words? Nope. Get his ass out of here! Like, fire away.
Did Brett die first or Dallas? I can't remember.
I think.
Brett.
Brett the engineer,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Dallas
Yeah,
just
I
wasn't
think
the
so.
first. Is all.
Okay, so Brett was first, right? And they give one of the engineers a net. They split up like Scooby-Doo, right? So Dallas takes Lambert and Ash, and Ripley is with the other two, Brett and what is Parker? The two. She gets the two engineers because she's in charge of them. Makes sense. They have a net. They're going to capture what they think at this point is the tiny baby alien, not knowing that they mature like super quickly.
Shed their skin,
And in
apparently.
fact, yeah, they shed. And when it hits Brett, it's adolescent, so it's not fully grown yet. It I think we're supposed to like get the vibe of every time it kills, it grows.
Oh.
And once it kills Brett, it goes from adolescent to adult, and then we have a full-scale alien. It's our first cat jump scare with Jonesy. And then Ripley makes one of her very few mistakes. She makes what I think are two mistakes in the movie, and both of them have to do with sending people, like, not staying together. She sends Brett after the cat because, hey, if we contain the cat, then we know the noise is just the alien. And the Brett death, to me, is the most tensey death because, boy, does he stand in that, like, rain or whatever in the chains forever. And then it turns out, it's actually Jones in the tanky thing. Yeah. And then it comes.
What was the water?
I thought acid was going to drip on his face or something. I thought they were building. They do so much teasing with this movie where they let you sit in a scene, you think something's going to happen, and they're like, no, not just yet. And you're like, God, they have me sitting there waiting for it the whole time.
I think the
I thought something was going to happen.
I think the acid blood from the face hugger kind of gave us a reason to not think, well, what if they just shoot it? Because then blood everywhere, melt spaceship, bad time.
Yeah.
So that's why they go to airlock, ejected into space. Then hull is fine. We can still get home. Good time.
So I realized something during that scene with Brett where he's like letting the water drip on him, which I don't really know what that water was coming from.
Condensation from coolant or something. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I realized during that scene something I didn't like about the movie was that the spaceship, their ship was like, it was just too creepy. Like part of the like whole vibe of the movie and like the way it made you feel was because it was just a creepy ship. Like it had all these hanging chains and like the way the vents would close. Like I didn't like that it kind of relied on the ship to be creepy and scary.
That's what a warehouse is. That's what a.
But they're truckers in space. Though.
Yeah.
They're not on the Tantive 4. They're on the Millennium Falcon. But they're on the Millennium Falcon, and that's the difference. It's clean. I know Tantive 4 is a rebel ship, but still clean freighters versus old junky smuggler ships. They're hauling ore. They're on a freight train. Freight trains are gross.
That's true.
And then also the thing with horror movies though is it's all atmosphere.
I was about to say it's the setting.
So if you don't have the atmosphere, you're not scared at all. If he's not standing in a dark, shitty room with chains, you're like if what do you like? I think the contrary is the alien comes out in a well lit Target and you see it, like, you know what I mean? Like it's on aisle 4. It doesn't work unless it's dark.
I will say, when I watched Scream for the first time, there's a scene of him in the grocery store where he's just like, wah, in like a store.
But that's it. That's different though, because that's
a serial killer.
That's subverting the norm.
And that's satire too.
Right. But that's
it still scared me.
That's subverting the normative of creepy, horrible, gross atmosphere for, it's scary.
It's anywhere.
It's scary when you put them anywhere. But that only works
scary.
That only works though in a setting where you can go to a store.
Right.
Not when we're in space. And we're obviously just way out there. But I get it, but without the setting.
You're right though. I guess it kind of goes back to me wanting more backstory on what they were doing to begin with, because I kind of forgot that it was like a mining ship.
Well, and if you think about where they were in the ship, they were lower levels where the engineers were.
Yeah.
If you look up in the infirmary and in the mess hall and where Mother's room is, with all the switches and lights, that's your typical sci-fi crap. They're in the trunk. And then later on, it's a different story because, we have power issues and it's dark and lights are flickering and there's an alien on the loose. But yeah, they have to make that atmosphere. Rip Brett. Brett dies. And then Dallas, there's something to his death that just makes me laugh. And I know it shouldn't.
Dallas was the captain.
Dallas is the captain. So he's in the air vents.
Yeah.
We know that the alien's in the vents.
Flamethrower.
Classic. Parker's rigged up some flamethrowers, which is cool. Super cool. Aliens are, they assume that it doesn't like flames, which is valid. Fun fact, there's a video game called Alien Isolation, which is a solo horror game where you were just on a ship by yourself with a xenomorph, and the xenomorph isn't pathed. They programmed it to be intelligent, so it just goes... It's unpredictable. It's not a linear game.
That's safe.
And you have a flamethrower in the game, but if you use it too much, it learns to not be afraid of it. It's a horrifying game. I'll never play it. But that's the thing with the thing that, and Ash kind of goes and remarks before they unplug his head and then Parker torches him, which God bless him. I'll get to that in a second. He remarks about how he admires it because it's liberated from a conscience and it's a perfect
Yeah. He
specimen.
admires its purity.
It's pure and it's largely invincible. He was like, you have no hope. He basically tells him, and that's when they torch him. So.
Was the fire true? Like, is that a real threat to them, or was that a misdirect from
It is.
Ash? Okay.
It is.
Why would he give them real information, you think?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit of empathy.
Well, or maybe it's just, I don't know, it's a creature. And
Yeah.
he didn't think they could do it. He was like, creatures probably don't like fire. You know?
Yeah, they
like,
had a reasoning that they were
Just giving them something to stay on their side?
There's more of that in Aliens. There's more flamethrowers. Spoilers.
I like them. Oh,
My point. So they're real quick. They're in the air vents of Dallas, right? And when Dallas, they've got the monitor, like the heartbeat sensor from Warzone, and they're tracking the thing or whatever. And then they have that moment where they're like, "Dallas, it's coming for you. You have to leave." And Lambert, the navigator on the ship, it's her job to know what direction to go. It's like, not that way. And then Dallas dies. And it's like, bitch, that's your fault, you idiot. You didn't tell him which way to run. You just told him to run.
That's true.
Bad navigator. It's a wonder they got anywhere.
Yeah, she panicked. Yeah.
She was very, and that's true. I'm being hard on her for comedic effect. Everybody laughed. But no, yeah, she was the most rattled by everything.
yeah.
I think Parker I like the most as a character. Like, he's the one that goes to stab the thing right as it bursts out of the chest and gets stopped by probably Ash, who probably wants to keep it safe. So
Yeah.
but you know, he has the unfortunate factor of being an African American in a horror film. And as the tropes go, they die. Although he doesn't die first. God bless him.
No, he made it almost to the end.
What bothered me about Dallas's death with the flamethrower is that happens, like, we get the little jump scare of the alien, and then it cuts, like, the next scene, they have his gun, and they're like, this is all we found, no body, just the gun. They went in the pipes, in the vents behind him after he just died there?
Yeah.
Why?
You want to make sure he's alive? See what happened to him? You don't know.
I mean,
I
I guess
wouldn't
they
do
could have
it.
been checking this.
I mean, why
they didn't
stick
know
your
for
head
sure
in
he
an
was
alien
dead.
egg, you know?
Like, that's
it.
the one place I would be avoiding.
That's horror movies.
Yeah.
It's people making dumbass decisions. It's like the commercial, was it the State Farm commercial or Allstate commercial right now?
Why
It's
don't we
like,
just get in the running car?
Are you crazy? We got to hide behind the chainsaws. Like, it's just that horror movies are. That's why I like, again, that's why I like Ripley so much. She's the one, it's not a comedy, so she's not a straight man, but she's the most reasonable person. She's the one person who's like, what if we all stick together? What if we do X, Y, and Z? And she really doesn't screw up. And then in the second movie, oh my God, her character is just even better. She's so good. She's great. I noted, you run Dallas, but not that way. So stupid. That's after that scene is where Ash tries to kill Ripley with rolled up porn, which is so funny to me and weird. I also noted, this is kind of a weird note. I noted Sigourney Weaver has a similar vocal register to Carrie Fisher. They both have lower vocal tones, and I really like that.
Sure.
And you came in that thing. You're braver than I thought. Also, Sigourney Weaver turned 75 on Tuesday. God bless her.
Wow.
It was just her birthday.
Yep.
The day we watched.
I mean,
the movie.
she was 30, I think, in this movie.
Something like that. I liked Parker torching Ash on the way out. It's like super relatable.
Yeah.
Screw this robot. I'm gonna melt his face off.
Let me just make sure.
Yeah.
I wrote you can't kill that man thing enough times for what he was complicit in. True. It's always the machines, man. And then, and now in the 2020s with all this AI crap, it's like
It hits different.
it
Yeah,
does.
it also feels weird having like a machine that's a robot and an AI. Like, that seems like a hat on a hat.
Yeah. Well,
But I
and
guess they serve different functions. One's more of a physical force, and the
And
other's kind of a tool or a resource.
I think it stands to reason, too, that there are other ships with Mother without the robot, without Ash.
yeah.
Because, like, he was replaced 2 weeks before or whatever, so I don't know.
Also, why not just send a whole crew of robots?
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe they're limited in some kind of capacity. I just don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause if you did all robots, you wouldn't need the whole crew because you wouldn't have to do as much food, and they're probably more efficient.
You just need milk.
but they're probably
Yes, it's
expensive.
milk.
Humans are cheap because they're born, not made.
Yeah. It's all
They
about
might
your
be
profit.
breeding robots. They did it in Blade Runner. Who knows?
But they
might be
did
the
it
same
in
universe.
Blade Runner. Ridley Scott's not going to do that twice. Speaking of hats
Yeah.
and hats, I find the whole process of the birth of an alien very interesting because it's parasitical, but 2 times. You have the egg that births the
Yeah.
face hugger, and then you have the face hugger that plants a thing that then births again out of the chest. So it's very insecty, like insectoid, but
Yeah.
it happens 2 times. Super cool.
Is there another stage in there? Like after they're an adult, is there another thing like a ultimate xenomorph
So
or anything
there
like that? Or
is,
is it just
and-
stop
and
there?
Mega xenomorph.
Well, so there is.
Oh.
There is in Aliens and in
You nailed it.
AVP. There are xenomorph mothers. That's the big baddie in Alien, and that's why it's Aliens. So that would have it stands to reason that would have been what laid all the eggs. And then AVP is like, oh, predators keep the eggs around to hunt them as practice as a proving ground. AVP is cool, but it's dumb. It's
Sounds
dumb.
like a
It's
dumb-
dumb. It's
dumb guy-
dumb.
guy
It's a
movie.
dumb movie. It's dumb because it's like, oh, we have this battleground, and where is it? It's in like a pyramid in Machu Picchu underground. Dumb. But fun, awesome. It's stupid.
Before we move on from Ash, Cameron asked me if I got a secondhand embarrassment from him being
Oh
covered
yes,
in the white.
because background story. This
I
came
get-
up with Frodo
Major ick from Elijah Wood in his spider cocoon
from Shelob.
from Shelob. I hate it. This one didn't give me secondhand embarrassment. I don't know why, but my ick for this movie is them calling the AI mother.
Yeah.
I didn't like
Yeah.
it. I'm like, ew, why mother?
Would mommy be better or worse?
Worse.
So much worse.
What did mommy say?
Ew.
Mommy say. I did
Give
like.
it a name, like an acronym name, like Hal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Call it. I can't. think
Mother
of
might
one.
be an acronym. Who knows?
Okay, we'll pick a different one.
I did like. I did
like
find
it.
it funny and very 70s and groovy and like not an off-putting way. How it's clearly like a dummy head until they put it on the ground and then
Yeah.
they did a cut and then it's
Yeah.
It's like
bad.
so distinctly different too.
Just like, it reminds me of when R2 when they go from the 2-legged model to the 3-legged model with its remote control. They have like that shutter where they try to make the cut perfect and it's just not. I love those imperfections because it reminds me that I'm watching something that people made. I just really enjoy those.
I don't like
practical
that when
effects.
I'm in the middle of watching it.
Well, but why do you hate art?
Okay.
All right, where are we? Parker. Oh,
They all
so
die.
well, okay. Let's talk about the last 2 deaths then. Parker and Lambert. That one I find incredibly frustrating, and it's hard to blame Lambert. It's easy to blame her for what's his face's death because she just tells him to go the wrong way and she's a navigator. But to Carl's point, she keeps getting frozen
He
with
would have
fear.
gotten him eventually anyway.
And she gets the most
Yeah.
frozen with fear when the xenomorph is just there looking at her because Ripley makes her second mistake. I'm going to blow up the ship. The escape pod can't fit 4, but I guess it can fit 3, even though it's only got the cryo chamber for 1. Whatever. Doesn't matter. She's the only one who ends up on there, but I guess it was more survivable for 3 people. So she sends Lambert and Parker out for supplies. Mistake, because she sends 2 people out alone. Granted, they're together, but she sends them out to gather more supplies. It seemed like coolant. I'm not exactly sure, but boy, are they banging around
yeah,
canisters.
they're
of
making a lot
something.
of noise.
And then the alien just heard a dinner bell,
Yeah.
and it's the first time it attacks 2 people at once. Probably because it's being fed by everybody else's corpse, so it's larger, tougher. We can assume it's the fullest grown we ever see it. And what's annoying and frustrating as a viewer, though, is it stands in front of Lambert, and Parker is sitting there with a flamethrower. And he's telling Lambert to move out of the way so he can torch it. Now, if I'm Parker, I'm just burning her ass too. Because I want to live. But
Yeah.
he doesn't. She gets killed, and then I guess it just turnarounds and... Or, no, it kills him first?
I don't.
I don't
remember. It was
remember.
quick.
Because I feel like he got the mouth, and then it showed the tail coming up behind
He did.
her.
He did get him
So
first.
it kills him first,
Yeah.
and so he's a victim of her frozenness and his own unwillingness to just torch her and the damn xenomorph.
I think I heard somewhere too that there was a scene that they changed that she was going to be hiding in a locker and die from fright. So the rest of her decisions leading up to that make a lot of sense.
There's
Like,
another deleted scene
I would
too.
have hated that.
There's a deleted
Yeah.
scene too that
Right after all that.
I think it explains why Ripley's nose has a nosebleed before Ash. I think there was a scene somewhere before that where it explains why she has a nosebleed. But really what I just took from it is, oh, it's a stress thing, because that's totally real. You can
Yeah.
get nosebleeds from stress, so that's whatever. Yeah, they die. It sucks. Mother's a bitch, I wrote. Why have a arbitrary 5-minute limit for self-destruct activation override? Weird choice.
Yeah.
Weird choice.
Well, you have to have some sort of time limit.
Why is the segment, but it's a 10-minute timer, but why can't I turn it off after 5 minutes?
Right.
Weird choice.
Why
Okay,
not
all right, okay.
1 minute
like
left?
up to, okay,
Right.
I see. I see.
Weird choice. So it's annoying because she's like, Mother, I turned it off, but it doesn't matter. It's too late. Mom!
See? Weird.
But then she knows because she goes to the escape pod and the thing's just like T-posing in the way. It's just in the way. So then she's like, oh, I got to turn off the self-destruct.
He's looking at Jones, which, like, why didn't he eat Jones?
Looking at Jones. Didn't eat Jones. But Jones is in the box, right? At that point, I think Jones
He
is
could have
already in
figured out the box.
He couldn't
He's
figure out
in
the
his-
box.
Eating the box.
That's their one weakness. If they were all in kennels,
They would have been
they would have
fine.
been fine.
Yeah.
Shout out to
If only.
Jones.
The alien's like, my fingers won't open that.
Yeah, just
Anyway, she decides to just F it. I'm going to the escape pod. And then the funniest moment of the movie for me happened because of Danielle's reaction to this. Now, she right before or right after you got jump scared by the xenomorph being hidden in the life raft, which scared me so bad the first time I saw this movie when it moved. I had the same reaction as you because I'm like, shit, it's not over. And now we're in the most enclosed space we've ever been in.
Yeah.
Apart from, what's the captain's name? Help.
Dallas.
Apart from Dallas's death, because that's air vents. It's hard to get more restricted than that. We're in the lifeboat with the thing. We're sealed off. We're not in the ship anymore. And now we have an alien with us. She hides in a locker, puts a spacesuit on, starts saying, "You are my lucky star," over and over and over, which is probably what I'm going to name the episode. And she straps herself into the chair with a harpoon gun. And the alien is napping.
Okay, so we're not harpoon gunned yet. No.
Oh, was it earlier?
It was earlier. She's
Sorry.
like back, by the spacesuit in the clothes or whatever. And we see the alien like he's sleeping and then he like yawns.
He does a little jaw stretch. And she
likes-
said, I quoted it. I have it written down. He's just a sleepy guy. He's just like Phoebe. No, he isn't.
Is this what you mean when you see things and you see Phoebe in them?
He doesn't. He doesn't have Phoebe energy though. But
he did
in
a
that
little stretch,
moment,
and you said, it's Phoebe. And I wrote it down because that's crazy.
in that moment, he's just like a little
He's just
guy.
a little dog.
He's just
Oh,
sleeping.
man.
Phoebe.
Just
Doing
needs a little
yawn.
nap.
Yeah.
His
His feeble little legs.
And then it ends, she opens the airlock and it catches itself on the doorway like, what now, bitch? And then she shoots him with the harpoon gun. He flies out. The door closes on the harpoon gun. He's kind of in space,
God.
looking like he's going to come back, gets caught in the engines and blows off. And that's Alien.
That's Alien.
It's Alien.
I thought
She goes to sleep with Jones.
Little Jones.
I thought that Jones was going to be somehow like how the alien gets in the ship. Like I thought the alien was going to get Jones or do something to Jones, like because I figured the alien would end up on the ship. I was like, there's five other movies. It's not going to go away. So I was like, well, maybe he'll do something to the cat because the cat's been kind of pointless up until this point.
That's not pointless. The cat has served as fake jump scares the whole time. It's great.
Yeah, I
That's the
guess.
point of the cat. It's to make
I didn't
you-
expect the full alien to be on the ship though.
Oh my god, it was so good. Because she just goes to try to deactivate it, and then I guess assumes it goes back in, but it doesn't. It goes deeper and hides.
I also thought
Takes a little sleep from all his food he's eaten.
when she harpooned it, my immediate thought was, that's sick. 1. 2, I thought she was going to pull it up to the door, but still on the outside and just fly back to Earth.
Fly the alien back to Earth.
I was, in my head, I'm going, there's 5 other movies. Where does this go from here? And I still don't know because, like, he's floating off in space.
Watch Aliens.
Yeah.
There's
no,
more
I want to.
There's more eggs. It's
No,
not the
there's a bunch
same
of eggs.
alien, but there's a bunch of aliens.
I thought it looked. I kind of got the ick when I saw it being like dangling by the string. I was like, oh, that's how we're gonna.
It's
we're
a
gonna
bit
let it
How
sit there.
embarrassing.
It was a little. Like I think I would have preferred it if it just gotten sucked out and we saw it kind of like being like in the vacuum of space, flailing and just
Yeah,
or
I agree.
assume it suffocates or something. It seemed like him holding on was also too human, but I think maybe they are made from humans or something, so that might
Well,
be
they
okay.
learn too.
But-
Is the thing?
Okay.
They're-
Well, it
they're
was also
adaptive.
a guy in a suit, so if there's a
Yeah,
humanness
that-
to
yeah,
it, then
yeah.
it
Yeah.
was a person.
Apparently, it was a 6'10" guy that they
That's
just
large.
found
That's
at a
crazy.
bar and was like, "You'd
Hey.
be perfect."
And
In
we're
the new
aliens.
Alien movie, he's not a xenomorph, but there's like a current like 7'3"
Sheesh.
like G League basketball player that's in the suit in the
Nice.
new. I forget what it's called. G League is like their minor league. The Gatorade League is what G stands for. It's real.
Yeah,
It's a real thing.
Oh,
Now that's really it though. I get Carl's complaint with the string, but I think they wanted to give us one more. Oh God, is it going to come back again? And then no, they finally give us the satisfaction. So I think that was supposed to kind of piss us off on a level. What was your question?
I was gonna say, do we think he died? But it's pretty clear the alien died.
Yeah, that one's gone. I'm not going to answer any questions about Ripley.
Okay.
You just watch Aliens.
Well,
Just know that it's not.
I've been spoiled a little bit too.
Okay,
so,
well, don't spoil
yeah.
Carl. Don't spoil Dan. Danielle, would you watch Aliens or no? Are you done?
I don't want to.
There you go.
Like, I guess if we watched it for the show, I'd have to.
I don't
but
think we need to do that.
I'm gonna pick it next time I have a choice.
no, I mean that's fine.
No, I don't think we need to make Carl wait.
But if-
Carl,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but if you were like, hey, like let's watch a movie, let's watch Aliens, to be like, yeah,
Fine.
watch
All right.
something else.
Let's move into hit, miss, or miss. But first, I have a question for Carl.
Yes.
Was it worth the wait?
Ooh.
Because we made you wait.
think-
You've been wanting to watch Aliens for a minute.
a while?
I mean, I
Since the
haven't been like
spring, though.
actively like can't wait, you know. But eventually, like it's definitely been like it's been on my list for a long time.
It
And
seems
I think
quintessential alien stuff.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You have to watch Aliens.
Definitely glad I've got it under my belt now. It was not what I was expecting, but I really did enjoy it. Like,
Can we unpack that?
I
What
wanted,
were you expecting?
I thought it was going to be more gory and more violent and a lot more
Gratuitous,
like I think
if you will.
Yeah, I think I was expecting it to be a lot more horror and it was more suspense
suspensey.
and that kind. Yeah, it was definitely more.
It's not.
More
It's
of a
no
Jaws.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And if
Yeah,
it was,
and I don't.
I wouldn't have
like
watched it again.
that anyway. Yeah.
You know
So
what?
it was like the
Hereditary
right
is
kind of
something.
horror for me. It made it digestible for me.
And I like that it's a horror thriller movie, but it's a sci-fi movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's more. It's almost more that than anything.
Yeah.
I really enjoy. I think it's more. It's definitely more parsable than a Blade Runner because you don't have the existentialism like kind of hanging over the whole thing. Like,
Yeah, the story's
are they
pretty
people
simple.
or not? You know, like Blade Runner is like. I guess Fallout 4 is Blade Runner.
More
but
philosophical,
worse. But you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's that whole thing. Like, or the synth people and and aliens just we're in a thing with a thing.
There's discussion to have after Blade
Survive.
Runner. Yeah.
Right. You're supposed to
Yeah.
sit and think about Blade Runner. Alien, you're supposed to go,
But
Jesus
the
Christ.
world was really intriguing though. I was like, we live in it. Like I thought, the whole like their ship felt so real, and like the cast felt so like perfect casting. Like everybody seemed like they belonged on that ship. Like, and just then finding that other extraterrestrial ship and like what all that is. Like I'm interested in the rest of the world, the rest of the the movie or the rest of
Yeah.
the movies, but I don't know that I'll ever get through all of them. But,
I don't think they're all worth getting through. Aliens
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
I've heard some of the other ones are quite bad. I think the latest one got decent reviews, but I'm not sure
That's
how
the one I was like,
interconnected
I might just jump to that one because that one's supposed to be before this movie.
And
I don't know how
Prometheus
much.
is like the beginning from what I understand, but it's not really
Okay.
very well. So it's
It's like the
mess.
genesis of the whole thing.
And then I think AVP is just that's fan
Yeah.
service. The movie it doesn't really make sense. It's not as grounded as Alien and Aliens, and Predator's ridiculous.
Yeah.
but Predator's dope. It's Arnold running around and being crazy in Vietnam. It's a good movie.
I kind of thought these were going to be like based on books too, like Westworld was. So I thought maybe like them ending it the way they did with all these kind of open-ended things was like a choice that like people that read the books would be like, oh, I can't wait to see what's next. But I think it's probably not that at all.
Well, what you can
there's
do
not like any
though,
literature.
because it's sci-fi though, like the wiki dives are real for Alien.
Oh yeah.
The wiki dives are real. There's a lot of that. All right. Let's do hit or miss, and then we'll do 20 questions. I assume there's not freaking
Alright.
hot points.
No,
for
no
Alien.
hot
There you go.
points.
That's
Nobody-
Animorph's so hot, and I like how the ship was called. Mommy.
Nobody was hot. All the men were annoying.
All
They
the more to
should've-
kiss you with, my two mouths.
Ew.
It's like Little Red Riding Hood.
On
Let's start with you. Actually, I'm interested. In your thoughts.
me.
Hits, mid, or miss?
Mid.
Let's anger a fan base. Yeah.
No, it's mid. So here's
Boring. Guffaw.
maybe boring's not the right word.
Because you thought the pacing was fun. The first hour, at least, you were like, I also felt like that
Here's
was
what
about
I
30
think.
minutes.
I think I just don't like science fiction. I just
think that that's true because you
I-
didn't like Blade Runner, you didn't like 2001.
I
Star
like-
Wars is palatable, but it's a space opera.
Star
Did
Wars
you like
is-
2049 Blade Runner?
I liked it better, but I still didn't like. I wouldn't go back to it. And I think
Yeah.
that's I like Ryan Gosling, and
probably
I
made that
like
intolerable. Yeah.
the joy.
Yeah.
I don't. Ana
You like-
de Armas, I like her
You
too.
like Dune,
Yeah.
but that's like Star Wars Plus.
Yeah, like Dune has a lot more. I think it's the pacing of the like older sci-fi movies that I don't like. It's not that I don't. Yeah, I don't like it. Like, I didn't like hate like Blade Runner. While I was watching it, I was like actively like, oh, I don't like this. I'm bored. This is stupid.
Why is LA so Asian?
I really like. God damn.
So, but this movie,
That's what you brought back.
Gonna have to donate to a charity now.
this movie, I didn't feel that like anger watching it. I was just kind of like, eh. And I think part of that was like I knew everything that was coming because you were talking me through it again for a reason. But I think that kind of took the edge off of it. And then B, I don't know. I was expecting more.
Okay.
I was expecting to be more tense, more something, but I think I wasn't. Partly again, spoilers, but also because I didn't really care.
All right. I have follow-up questions.
Okay.
Would you have rathered I let you cold?
No.
Okay. That's good. That makes me feel better.
No, I would have been definitely
you-
more stressed.
Upset that you watched it, or are you glad that you've seen it at least?
I'm glad I've seen it.
Like I've seen Alien.
It also, because it does feel like a quintessential like movie. So I'm glad I've seen it.
Okay.
It's probably like outside of like Dune, it's my favorite of the three.
Star Wars, Dune, and Alien. Or
No,
or you mean
Blade
Runner,
Blade Runner
2001.
2001. This the like older sci-fi that I've seen. This is probably my favorite
It's
one.
Ridley Scott's on that list. Okay, here's
But like again, Star Wars and Dune, I feel like they
save that.
hit different things.
They do hit different.
So those are different to me. But Star Wars would be my number one, and Dune would be number two.
Yeah.
So,
Star Wars on top.
anyways,
Nick.
mid.
It's a hit for me.
Oh, I'm surprised. By
It
that.
reminded me a lot of 2001, just from the like suspense.
Did you stand
And
at
I-
the end?
Do what?
you
I
stand
didn't
up-
stand at the end of this one.
So dumb.
Dude, I've never had an experience with the movie
Orange
like
and then purple.
like 2001, man.
So dumb. I love you.
And I
with
didn't
you,
even
Nick.
take the vitamins. I really like suspense though. The like hold your breath. What's going to happen? Add in the horror. Add in the jump scares.
Add in the grossness.
The grossness. I really liked it. It was fun.
I liked. That's cool. That's cool. No, it made me think of the acid spit again. I feel like in other series,
What?
the acid blood.
It sounded like you just
sorry.
said ass.
He said ass spit. Yeah.
I said acid spit. So the ass spit, the shit. On the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah.
No, when they cut they like lance the face hugger and the blood hits
Right.
the ground and burns a hole in the ground. I feel like in 99% of things I've watched, that would have been the end of that. And instead they go
goes
down
through.
and they're like, oh, it's gonna go through the hole.
Yeah.
That's the extra, the shit that you thought was boring. That's
Yeah.
the stuff that I like because I'm like, oh, it really makes it real. I'm buying into the sciencey part.
God, yeah,
of
if
it.
that full
And
size
I-
had bled, it would have gone through the whole thing.
Yeah, for real.
I liked how controlled all of the characters were. Like for me, a big thing with 2001 was there was a lot of stuff happening, but they kept their composure. They were very calm. And you kind of had that in this. Like it felt like
It's
what Carl was saying.
professionals.
It felt like they like legit were on a ship and they were trained to do this.
Yeah.
So good acting,
Next one we get space.
suspense, horror,
Space
space.
Marines.
I didn't even know this movie was in space. I knew nothing about this movie
right.
going in.
Well, the next
So
one we
yeah,
get Space
it was a hit.
Marines. It's cool.
Alien's a bit of a tip, but
Well, I knew there was aliens. I thought there were multiple.
Where's Marvin the Martian? I'm being ripped off. Carl.
oh man, this is a hit for me. Definitely glad I watched it. I think what I was expecting it to be, I'm glad that it wasn't. Like, I'm glad that it was more of the slow pacing and kind of like the lived-in world feeling. It definitely got some like of the Coen brothers feel for like kind of the drop in and like the very conversational like
The cat.
dialogue that was happening. Yeah, the cat. Yeah. Oh
So
my
I'm
god.
watching
yeah.
Inside Llewyn Davis right now.
Yeah, where's the music? Yeah. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I had it on the background like a few more times to kind of just keep watching, and you get to see like
watched a
when you
couple
know
scenes
that Ash is an android. I think that's starting when I first watched it. That seemed like such a weird, like it just seemed like I hadn't had to have done that. But like when you know he's the robot going into it, you can kind of see like the way he reacts to scenes. He's calculating things, so that was really cool. I think you can probably just keep watching it and finding little details like that. But I'm probably gonna watch Aliens pretty soon and see if that holds up too. So,
Aliens
yeah,
is good.
definitely.
It's just
yeah,
don't expect Alien 2. a different director, you'll be fine. I'm gonna give it a hit. Here's what I wrote down this morning after watching it last night. First of all, I enjoyed it much more in my second viewing than my first because the Band-Aid had been ripped off. Like I knew what happened. So as a very anxious person, I was able to enjoy it much more.
Your first being when
I was
first watch it.
Yeah, when I was like 16 or 17. Here's what I wrote. Alien is, I guess like many horror movies, again, I haven't seen like any, a collection of bad decisions, each more consequential than the last. This movie, though, does have one character who doesn't really misstep, Ripley. She's such an excellent protagonist, extremely relatable and believable, having many of the same protests as the viewer when watching the movie, such as not wanting to open the airlock, etc. I think that's why I like it so much, is you have a person in the movie that's on your side doing the same things you'd be doing. Like, why are we letting these people in? Why aren't we all staying together? Like, you know, the android, like, you son of a bitch. Like, she is not only one of the strongest female protagonists in a movie, she's like plays almost the role of the viewer in the movie. And I just love it. So good. I love this movie. Hit for me. I think it's great. Now, will I watch it every year? No, because spoopy, and I don't like that. But I think it's a great movie. I'm so glad I watched it again. I was dreading it, Carl. I was like, fucking Carl. I would have cut it, but I was like, Carl wants to watch it, and I'm going to watch Alien. I don't want to. And then it was not as bad as I remember, like tense-wise. I just enjoyed the hell of it. Now, I have a fun question. We've seen 3 Ridley Scott movies. Where would you rank them? I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going to go Gladiator number 1. Alien number 2, Blade Runner number 3.
It's the same for me.
Really? Gladiator number 1,
Yeah,
Alien, Blade Runner?
I wouldn't say I really liked Gladiator. I really liked, once we got out of the like Roman fighting and we got into the like Gladiator on, I really liked it.
So
I didn't
the
like the
beginning
lead up
battle
of the war.
scene-
Yeah, once he went...
Once
his
he gets so like
family
slave and-
his
yeah.
family dying. I don't remember everything else that happens in that beginning portion, but I didn't really like. I was kind of like, all right, let's get
He gets
going.
picked up as a slave and then
Yeah,
the
I didn't
gladiator
like
stuff
the slave like walking away, but once he starts fighting and being successful and then on, I was like, all right, I'm locked in.
Carl, how would you rank him?
And
Nick
Blade-
is doing a big think.
Blade Runner, I didn't like
Yeah,
at all.
this is a tough question. I think I would go Blade Runner, Alien, Gladiator.
Whoa, that is not what I expected from you. If I would have had to pick for you, I would have done probably Blade Runner, Gladiator, Alien. So that's very interesting.
They're all so close. It's like a 3-way tie, like in Ford versus Ferrari.
It was forced callback.
But I think it's just that, like, I also really like Blade Runner 2049. So I think I'm thinking about that too for Blade Runner, like just that whole arc.
Oh, true.
I don't know. And Blade Runner's also got like so many edits and so many like the philosophical things.
Yeah, we watched
you
the
can
director's
really,
cut.
yeah, dial like I don't know. That's tough.
Nick,
Yeah.
I first of all, when you said Gladiator, my brain started thinking about A Knight's Tale.
nope,
So that took me a second.
incorrect.
I'm gonna go Alien, Gladiator, Blade Runner.
Wow. All right.
Where would you put Knight's Tale on that list?
Yeah, where would you put it?
Right after Gladiator. Still better in Blade Runner.
Man,
Knight's Tale would be number
At least
1.
we like Blade Runner, man. All right. Well, that's kind of that. This has been a long ass
Yeah.
episode, I think. Sorry, everybody.
112, I think we're at.
Well, and there's like we're gonna
Ish.
cut some minutes off the front because
That's true.
you forgot to pick 20 questions. Speaking of which, 20 questions is back.
Bum, bum, bum.
Ba, 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 ba,
We
ba,
literally
ba,
remembered
ba,
to
ba.
do it like right before
Right before the show.
right after we hit record.
You're
so.
welcome.
Very good.
Whoops. Danielle picked.
It is my
It's
choice.
her choice for those who
I'm
are
in
new.
charge.
Danielle's going to pick a movie from the catalog of 80 some odd
You
movies.
guys
that we
ready for
watched.
this? I got the
85.
best question to start with.
85-ish
Ooh, nice.
movies. So go to our YouTube channel and pull up the movie list and play along with us. Danielle,
Wow.
are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We have a collective 20 questions to guess the movie. Starting with Nick, who says he has the best question.
Is it a musical?
No.
All right.
We've only watched like 2 musicals. That'd be
Yeah,
obvious.
but you've
But it-
loved
you love
them.
it.
I
It's not bad.
do. I loved one of them. Okay.
La La Land.
Oh wait,
Those
we watched
obligatories
we
of
watched
this year,
3
last year.
musicals
Sing in the Rain. Oh, yeah. This year, last year, Carl says.
this year.
This year.
Ooh, that narrows it
Okay.
down quite a bit.
Comedy?
Comedy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
All right.
response.
I'm regretting my choice now.
Is there a boy in the thumbnail, like a podcast boy?
A podcast
That's
boy.
such a dirty question.
Oops. Yeah. I mean, there's more boys than girls. I have to go look at the thumbnail though, so you're gonna have to hold on a second because
All right,
I don't know.
let's skip that one.
No, you asked it.
You asked
All
it. We
right.
must answer. When did we watch
This is great.
This is
So what
great
are we talking
podcasting.
this year?
I don't know. I can't find it.
All right, that's fine.
Oh, it's a boy. It's a boy.
Okay.
It's a boy.
It's a
like
boy
a
that's a
gender
kind
reveal.
of comedy from this year.
Newer or later than, or sorry, is it before 2000?
Yes.
Before 2000. That is not what I thought you were going to say.
Haha.
Is it a rom
A
com?
tricky. Yes.
Is it When Harry Met Sally?
Yes.
Nice.
Ah,
I was locked in on Crazy Stupid Love.
Nope. Incorrect.
I was going to ask, does
It
it have
was-
Gosling in it? But instead I asked before or after 2000, which probably doesn't make sense. So when Harry Met Sally?
When I
Nice.
was
How many
young.
questions was
That's
that?
a good
5?
I don't know. I forgot
There's
to keep
a-
track.
Shoot us forever.
There's a jar of peanut butter in the thumbnail, and I don't know why.
What's
is
that?
that the
Chili? We're talking about chili.
Oh yeah, the chili rating.
Why is that's crazy?
Is that really?
You know, we've talked for like 85 hours on this show, and I can't remember anything that happened.
There's also a little bowl of chili next to it.
You know what we
there?
forgot to talk about?
What?
The next movie.
Well, you gotta,
I
are we
feel like
pulling, or are we
you
just
threw. I
calling
feel
it?
like we might have thrown
Oh,
it up
no,
in the
we
air.
We do.
Off our groove.
We do know what's next.
Do we? I thought we talked about changing it.
Oh shit!
I don't know.
We know it's not
It
going to
can be
be
a-
the one that we said is going to be right before Halloween.
Right.
It can be a
We're going to
surprise.
end,
I was thinking, yeah, we're gonna end on that. So we don't know what the movie's gonna be, but you'll find out next week, and we're gonna talk about it
It's
right after we
Halloween
end.
month, baby.
Hey, guess what? It's gonna be Halloween related movies. Alien was our one exception, but spooky
It's
month.
spooky month.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We needed to start with Alien because of the pool that we have. The rest are more Halloween themed. So if you're big into Halloween, this is the month for you.
Welcome.
Wow. Wow. Well, Alien, there you go, folks.
There you go.
We'll be back with more spooky season films in the next one.
Very good.
Bye.
Bye.